Good morning. So I've been telling you guys about the lesson I learned in the box truck industry about partnering up with a guy on half of a truck and me covering all the expenses and him really treating me like, I guess you could say I was his secretary. So as I told you guys, we got that truck from Atlanta to Houston and we had to put it in the shop and I paid him $8,000. And I forgot to tell you guys that we had to get the ELD installed, and because it was an older truck, it we had to get somebody to professionally install it. So that was an additional $600. So we essentially went out on the road with really no money, and we had to use my credit cards for fuel because, as you know, when you use the pilot cards or whatever, they're snatching that money out pretty quick, and we needed to build up some money to be able to pay insurance and other expenses that came with the truck. So one thing I learned is we was really hoping that we could have joined forces, his business and my business. He had two trucks, we shared the one, and of course we planned on expanding and getting more trucks, which is what we did in March. We got our own truck. And what we found out in December was just how shady and fraud he was, because he called us just going off about his driver and how he was going to fire her and all these things because she wasn't doing what he asked her to do. So we ended up talking to her on the phone, and she was explaining to us that he wanted her to take the truck to the shop, and she's like, "Hey, I need to drop the load first." And she was like, "It made more sense for me to drop the load first, then take the truck to the shop because it was right in Dallas, close to where she lived." That man went off on her so bad. And she was so afraid he wasn't going to pay her money. And she had been messing her time up, all kind of things. And this is what gets me with these owners. The more I learn about hours of service, you run a risk of your driver getting pulled over at any given time, and they go back 7 days. But needless to say, we got him to agree to not fire her, and we talked to her. She was living in a hotel, her kids were separated from her. He knew all of this, and he still treated her like shit. That was another red flag that I realized. But needless to say, what she did was, and we talked to her all the way up through Christmas, baby, she just disappeared, and he had to hire another driver. And that's a whole nother story, because that driver ended up stealing fuel for him, and I was not even mad at the guy.